Okay, so we can start. For those that just arrived, my name is Valur Grettisson. Hello, I'm an editor-in-chief at Reykjavík Grapevine. Polly is over there, she's resting. We had just had a 2-hour hike with, walk with some friends that came to visit us. And with me is, of course, Andie Sophia Fontaine, my trusty, incredibly intelligent news editor.
I do my best.
Well, a little bit more than that. So, Laura, thanks for last time. It was thrilled to see you. Actually, it was really nice.
Yeah, and they actually let me back in the country, which is nice too.
I mean,
the only question I had was one of the days I was out walking around, I saw all these kids in togas.
Sorry,
like
what?
In togas.
In togas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, well, I meant to ask you about that on Friday, and I was like, what is that all about?
Those are the like kids that are starting in college, I think you call it.
Okay.
They are. It's like a, what do you call it? Like
secondary school. They're 16 to 20, and they're going through. I wouldn't call it hazing exactly, but it's an initiation of some.
Oh, okay. That's kind of what I figured it was, but.
Yeah. It's much better than it used to be when I was a kid. This was like when I was in college. This was like torture. We were just straight up tortured for a day by elder kids. But today is very civilized. They have very strict rules about this because it was torture.
Yes,
it is fun. I mean, everybody needs to suffer somehow.
All right.
So, you done, Laura? Anything more?
No, and actually, I was at the Blue Lagoon during on last Sunday.
Okay.
With the wind going like this way and the rain going this way. But
doesn't really matter if you're in hot water, then it's
I was in hot water.
Yeah. So, Alan, Jim, and who's Desi? Is that the cat?
I presume it's the cat. Yes.
Yeah. How do you say it? Desi, or
Desi? Yeah. Actually, the name is Desdemona, but they didn't know he was he was he when he was little. So he changed gender, I guess.
Good. Yeah, we support that.
Congrats to your cat living their truth.
So now we call him Desi. So yeah, we have some questions. First of all, I put Canada on there not because I'm so proud of being Canadian. I just would like to know.
Dutch.
Well, I'm Dutch too, and but I would like to know where everybody is from. So that is one thing, and because it's interesting to know where people all are residing. I'm sure it's not all Icelanders here. So, but anyway, I on my endeavor to go around in the election here, I had to put those flyers around, and we found a lot of the high rises didn't have a number 13. They would just skip over it and make it number 14. And this is an American thing that has come to Canada as well. And as a Dutch person, I think it is so ridiculous. I cannot believe they're doing this. But is there anything like that in Iceland?
Well, I'm not sure if you even have any 13. We have some. We're not that superstitious at all, to be honest. I haven't just been paying attention, but if it is like that, it doesn't really bother me at all. It doesn't really matter. But Icelanders our superstition is often like more close to like elves or something like that, like how we build our roads and or our buildings. Like if you're gonna build it on a elf, close to like what people think that is like an elf palace, then you have to actually hire a person, like a negotiator, to talk to those elves and ask them to move. and we often pay them quite the amount of money for this.
The negotiators, not the elves.
Yeah, the negotiators. And
Oh,
luckily,
okay, not the elves.
yeah, and luckily the elves, of course, they always are convinced in the end for some reason.
It's miraculous. They're very accommodating people.
Yeah, these elf speakers are obviously very skilled negotiators. so yeah, it's as perhaps the only like active superstition you can find like when it comes to like practical things. But of course, people, each and every one has their superstition in some ways.
Another question is to Andie Sophia, or should I call you Sophia? What
Andie
would you
Sophia,
prefer?
or just Andie is fine.
Andie. Is LGBTQ tolerated or celebrated, the diversity, as it were? So
I would say so.
In Iceland.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Like,
or just tolerated.
Yeah, that's a good distinction. I would say, yeah, like as in most countries, the people themselves tend to be more progressive than the laws, because laws tend to move more slowly than the society does. But like, yeah, like gay and lesbian, transgender, non-binary folks, we have our challenges in this country like we do in any other country, but we've made a lot of progress, like in just the past 3 years, I would say. I feel very safe here. Like I can walk down the street with my wife holding hands and I don't feel worried, but you know, there's still some changes to the laws that I would love to see made in the near future, but that's the subject of a whole other conversation. So in answer to your question, in a general sense, yes.
Can you officially marry?
Yeah, we got married
good.
here.
Yeah, okay. I was a Unitarian lay chaplain, and I did a lot of same-sex weddings. It was fun. Actually, it was more fun than the normal ones. The traditional ones. Don't get me wrong here, okay? But the traditional old-fashioned ones and heterosexual. The same sex was way more fun, actually, I found. Way more meaningful to me, because it was so sincere. So, but anyway, maybe I'm saying I put my foot in my mouth, and maybe I should shut up now.
Like, it is very meaningful to
Can
us.
Jim ask questions too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was curious. We have a lot of Icelanders in Canada, especially in Manitoba. And I've heard rumors that the big church was built by a nice Unitarian minister. Is that anything true or what?
Sorry, what church?
Hallgrímskirkja.
Hallgrímskirkja was designed by Guðjón Samúelsson. He was not. I mean, all of us were more or less in the state church at the time, but he was not a very religious man. He was just he loves buildings and such. And then the government just church. He was like a city planner, like this Guðjón Samúelsson, and an architect.
But I understood that he was a Unitarian minister at the time when he built it, or he designed it, or whatever.
That's not true.
He
was working for the city. He was working for the city as like an architect of the city, something like that. He also built like our national theater. There are tons of houses that he built. All of them are quite valuable, like culturally, in the cultural sense for Icelanders. For those houses are very beautiful, they're very unique, and he is considered as like our genius in architecture in Iceland. And Hallgrímskirkja is also like he was more like concerned about like he had like a very beautiful relationship with nature. And he often used like beautiful material from the nature. In these houses, you can see this very obvious in the National Theatre. If you go inside, you can see like the walls are exactly like often like when you see like basalt cones in our like our waterfalls and such.
Yes.
So it's not a religious guy. He was more or less just about nature.
Well, some Unitarian minister told us this story, and I doubted it already.
He was Icelandic.
He was Icelandic. Oh well, what can I say? I don't know.
I mean, he was just
Anyway.
working for the city. It's a well documented fact.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
great. I know
Oh.
one Unitarian minister who's Canadian and has an Icelandic connection. One.
Okay.
Was this Stefan Jonsson by chance?
That
Stefan.
sounds familiar, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Small world.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have to talk to him again. Well, this was 2 years ago that we heard that when we were over there. But anyway.
Perhaps it's something in the past of Guðjón or something, but I doubt it though. He was just an architect.
Interesting.
But I think he belonged to the Unitarian faith rather than the Lutheran.
What is a Unitarian belief again?
Unitarian Universalism.
What is that?
Um, it's a very lovely faith. It's very
It's-
ecumenical and broad, and it's
Free thinkers, sort of. We don't have a
Okay.
creed.
I
We
don't even know what this is. This is
we
he was
don't
he
pray.
was, he was a Lutheran, basically all Icelanders at that time. There were few Catholics, but Icelanders are not fond of them.
We have three different sources of Unitarians in Canada. The ones in Winnipeg or Manitoba are basically all from Iceland.
Okay.
The ones in Montreal are, I forgot whether it's, I think non-conforming Irish or something like that. And the people in Toronto, that's right of the Toronto church, came from Scotland. So
Okay.
it's really interesting that Americans think it all came from Boston. And, the Canadian Unitarians were three different groups from different places in the world.
Okay.
The funny thing is, I never heard of it in Holland because we don't have that. In Britain, it does exist actually. So, but anyway, I'm gonna hand over to somebody else because we hogged this long enough.
Okay. Anja, hi. Can you hear us?
Hi, yes, I can hear you. It's really nice
Welcome.
to see all of you again. So it becomes quite familiar, all the faces.
Yeah, right. I love it.
Yeah, me too. I have a question regarding some, let's say, maybe Icelandic tradition, which in my ears seem to be very typical Icelandic. So
Okay.
it's about food.
Okay.
The first thing about is the fish oil. Is it really tradition to get that for breakfast?
Yeah.
And the other thing is the rotten fish. So is it really some touristic stuff or more like a fairy tale, or you really eat that?
We do, yeah. Fish oil is, of course, like it can be a different kind of fish oil, like shark fish oil,
cod liver.
cod liver. Yeah, right. The thing is, when I was growing up, my mom and my grandmother and like all women in my family forced us to eat this every morning. My mom actually, she was a nasty one about this. I would always have a porridge in the morning before I went to school, and she put it like in the porridge itself until I asked her specifically to stop it, because like it was like just eating like fish oil tasted porridge. It was disgusting. But we had to take one full spoon of this every morning, and this was something that we did, and I did like until I was like strong enough to tell my mother to stop this. This is not good, but it's very healthy for you actually. And they say that like how was it like
Their constitution.
yeah, the constitution of Icelanders are often like to thank for this. Not so sure about it. I don't like force my kids to do this like I did, but I do give them like pills. It's like we have it like now in like with like a little bit sweeter pills for children, and I actually try to give them that. But then you like burping on this up. It's not a good aftertaste, I can promise you. But yeah, we did this. My generation did this, but as a parent, I'm feeling a little bit when it comes to this. But I call it mercy, to be honest.
What about the shark?
Yeah, the thing is about sharks, of course, they are incredible creatures. They can be like, for example, the Greenlandic shark can be up to 400 to 500 years old. And they're like the secret of being alive forever is basically somewhere in those genes. So Icelanders actually take that. I mean, I mean, we like sharks. I mean, we were like both, we were hunting them aggressively in the 1900s, but they are just incredibly bad taste, you know. I mean, it's like, it's not a good food, but and it's not probably very healthy for you if you eat too much of it.
No, no one is sitting down with like a plate of shark to eat like a meal.
Yeah.
But it will be commonly served in like these tiny little cubes with toothpicks, usually with brennivin.
Yeah, right.
But no one's having a whole meal of shark.
This is what you drink with it.
Yeah.
It's like
Grapevine.
black. Yeah.
We don't keep a lot of liquor in the office, for the record.
Yeah, we've had this now for 3 years or something. Nobody's gonna drink this, so.
Yeah.
So it's more something you get when you go to a pub, like that shark and brandwine.
No. Today, of course, it's very different. We eat this in a traditional, like we call it þorrablót. How is that in English?
There is no English word for it. It's the festival of Thorri, which is an old month, a very old month in the Icelandic tradition. It's
pagan stuff, and we eat it then like to celebrate our heritage, but it's more of a gimmick. I force my children to taste it just to see how disgusted they will be, you know. Well, like that.
It's a lot of fun when you have someone visit.
Yeah.
For the first time, you immediately take them to Kolaportið, the indoor flea market, and make them try this. That's the tradition.
Where are you from, Anja?
From Germany.
Ah, good.
Do you have any other questions, Anja?
No, thanks. That's fine.
Brilliant. Guinea bear. Hey.
Hi again.
Hi.
Since the last time we had this, we went and came back from Iceland, and we were one of the lucky ones that got to do the walking tour of Reykjavík, and it was great. I had done my homework, and there was still lots of stuff that I didn't know, and it was wonderful to see. And Polly was a total sweetheart, making friends with everybody. And I have one question for you and one question for Andie.
Okay.
One comment for Andie. The question for you is, you told us this great non-political story of the actual first settler of Iceland. And he had a funny nickname, or you know, the kind of sobriquet that people have when they only have one name. Can you refresh my memory on who that was? Because I couldn't find it in Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's Náttfari, like.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, the English version is like night worker.
Night worker.
Yeah, you could probably Google translate it, and you get Náttfari. But Náttfari is like, it's a name also. But yeah, he settled a little earlier than Ingólfur Arnarson. But of course, he was considered. There is a debate: was he a slave or not? Like he is mentioned in like 2 or 3 books, because we were always like writing down who settled in Iceland, and Vikings were more or less, they were very prolific when I was writing, like I told in the walking tour. And there are 3 different sources like about Náttfari, so we know he was here first, but it's not all of them say that he was slave. Like I think one source says he was slave, but the other 2 doesn't mention that. So there are theories that he wasn't actually a slave, but I mean, historians often try to lie to us. So I don't know. It's like it doesn't really matter. But he was. It's not much known about him, but there are some stories actually. He had this fight with this with a Viking and so on. But so it goes.
But it was so interesting to hear the not by the official stories that you read in books, and the comments you had about the Danes, the gosh darn Danes.
Well, the Danes, yeah. I mean, like I tried to explain, I mean, Danes are fine.
Yeah.
Quite boring and arrogant, but the monarchy is something we do not like, and we have never liked. And we had a very hard 400 years under the Danes, and it's not Iceland's greatest, finest hour. And some people, like, for example, my grandmother is a little bit snobbed about these things when it comes to the Danes, but my generation is realizing much better, like how violent and brutal this was, and we are no fans.
So anyhow, the tour is great. I highly recommend it. You'll learn really interesting things, sometimes in the place where it actually happened. We met some members of parliament.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just amazing.
Yeah, were you with us when the ministers came? Like, yeah, that was hilarious. When like Guðlaugur Þór, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, he was like, "Hello there."
Yeah, I shook somebody's hand and apologized for my former president. She said not to worry about it.
Yeah.
And I have a question or a comment for Andie.
Okay.
You published that wonderful article about lambless lamb stew,
Oh, right.
and I've made it twice, and
Okay.
the seitan is so nice. It's
That is so
tender and
wonderful.
interesting shape, and the season, it was great. It's a staple in our house now. So thank you so much. And plus the directions are this kind of non-linear, a handful of this, and
Yeah.
that's not the way this girl cooks. So
Right.
it was good for me to get out of my usual way of doing
Oh.
things with a very delicious outcome. So thank you very much for that.
You're very welcome.
Actually, I'm really glad to hear that. The first time we hear actually someone trying to cook the stuff without them to cook.
It was great. Thank you very much. On
You're
to
very
the next person.
Can I cut in? I have something I have to do. This is my first time. Greetings
Okay.
to everybody in Iceland and all over the world. My name is Richard Wooster. I'm
Okay.
a new member,
Okay.
the elbow member.
Okay.
I wanted to thank the Reykjavík Grapevine publishing newsletter, but at the same time, the videos you produce are fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Country you live in is beyond belief.
It's something, right?
I'm Swedish Norwegian, and so when I watch things about Iceland, it brings back very fond memories.
Yeah. Okay. Good to hear.
What's behind me is the Buddhist church's altar in San Francisco, California.
Okay.
I'm studying to become a Buddhist monk, hopefully in October. So all the hair comes off. I will be totally naked in my face.
Okay.
The white thing on my nose is skin cancer. I had a bout of skin cancer. I'm healing
Right.
now.
Okay.
I wanted to let you know, I watched the last video that you made about the volcano.
Yeah. The lava flow was spoken. Yeah.
I saw a video yesterday of some guy climbed up to the top of the volcano. Oh, crazy.
I mean, yeah, some people do that. It's like, I'm actually, my stand is to like, why focus on it? Like, if you want to be an idiot and kill yourself somehow.
Yeah,
then-
well, with the
I mean-
comment going around the internet now is he should get the Darwin Award.
Yeah, right. And it's a fair comparison. I mean, it's a pretty basic no-brainer that this is incredibly dangerous, and if you choose to do it, and you're kind of just on your own. If you die, it's like the worst thing is like if you die, it's gonna be like a shock for Icelanders and quite the tragedy, and could even like mean that they would like close off the area or something like that. It could have consequences just to
Yeah, but
make because Icelanders are quite the common sense when it comes to Icelanders and volcanoes and nature is very fine. We don't kill ourselves like that, although we often kill ourselves in the nature, but different ways.
I also watched a program about your fermented stingray.
Yeah, yeah.
No, thank you. I mean,
I
the Swedes have Strömming, fermented herring or rotten herring, so I don't need that in my life.
Right.
The question I have is, I'm studying Lengilek, the Lengenspiel they have in Iceland. It's the musical instrument that
Langspil. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
So I'm doing research because I'm a luthier. I build guitars, and I'm going to build some of these instruments to share
Okay.
with my Norwegian lodge
Okay.
here. And I would like if you could do a program about it in Iceland, how it came to Iceland. Are there societies in Iceland who have groups that play? Would be very inspirational for me, but other people have asked me to ask you because I'm the only one that has guts enough.
Well, to be honest, I probably won't make a show about Langspil, but it's an interesting instrument, definitely. But I haven't seen it for a long time. I mean,
No,
but then again, there's been COVID for a long time, so
I think could be interesting for like a cultural article.
yeah, it could
though.
be a good article, exactly.
Yes.
But
Because there's a big group here in the United States that is doing it, and there's also in Sweden and Norway. So the thing is that I got interested in it because I had to find a new instrument to build. I got tired of building guitars.
even why not?
Okay.
I mean, Langspil is interesting. I mean, it has a unique sound, definitely, and we used to use this a lot, centuries ago, I guess. Haven't seen it that much past decades.
Well, because of the coronavirus, people have been locked up in their homes, so old instruments are coming out of the closet.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
A lot of people have to entertain themselves, and they get tired of watching you, so they sit there and go.
Yeah, right.
So
Okay.
I want.
Any more questions?
No, my wife and I are going to my teacher's house this morning. We're studying Japanese tea ceremony. So I go to my teacher's house. I change from my civilian clothes to my kimono.
Okay.
And I will send an email to you, Valur,
Okay.
and pictures of me and my wife doing tea. And the website of my tea teacher, so that you can have some idea what's going on in the United States. And I'm in San Francisco, and the temperature this morning is 14 degrees C.
Well, that's not much. That's like close to us.
It's foggy outside.
All
right, everybody. Yeah, all right, everybody. You take care. It's good seeing all the faces, and have a happy day.
You too, man.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Corinne.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Andie, it's great to see you. Haven't seen you. Look great.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel great.
Well, the video, since they were just bringing it up, the video was awesome yesterday. I mean, I was like, it just seemed like we were just talking about it. Like last week, the volcano seemed dead, and like all of a sudden,
it's incredible, right?
It's just been what's the word I want to use? Constant education. Like they were mentioning earlier about, I never knew anything about volcanoes or anything until this. In fact, my first thought was like, oh no, I can't visit because I'm thinking the worst case scenario, and then just
there are of course volcanoes like that, but this one is particularly friendly and nice.
But at least I learned there's a difference.
yeah, right, exactly. Do you have any questions, Corinne? Or?
Yeah, I do. It just kind of, I don't know if you caught the email, but everything that you're experiencing here with since you created the YouTube channel and all these newscasts and everything, I'm sure it's been quite a learning experience for you too, as well as for us.
Yeah.
When eventually settle down, COVID and volcano, have you ever considered writing a book about your experiences, how the impact it left on you, the impression, things you've learned? Just curious, because yeah.
On COVID or YouTube or or all of it? Volcano.
This last year and a half plus has been, well, different.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I'm kind of done with COVID. Like, I don't want to think about it much again, but I'm actually always writing, and I'm actually writing a novel and a novella, and I will probably end up writing something about. I'll use any of this, however I will use it. But it's just, yeah. I mean, I don't know, but there is not like. It feels actually like COVID has been. The good thing about COVID, it's like it has forced us to find new ways about everything.
Right.
And often we have found, like for example, this just came out of COVID and would have never happened without it. So that's interesting, definitely. And that's just that's like my experience from at least the COVID pandemic. Then I would think about this, thankfully, instead of like thinking about like, because I was so lucky that no one got sick around me or anything. It was all like, it's like being in the eye of the storm or something like that. So yeah, I mean, this will always come. This will always be an experience that I will use in one way or another. It's often like that.
Okay, well, I just wondered because like you just said just right now, without this experience, I don't think I would have stumbled across the channel and learned so much about Iceland. It's such an incredible country. When I get there, I may not want to leave. But just learning so much, not just about that, but meeting everyone via the channel and everything. I'm grateful that this experience happened, and I'm grateful that we know you through this, and we catch your newscast every week. Thank you for letting us into your world. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, thank you for that, Corinne. It means a lot, actually. And thanks for watching and everything. Are you good, Corinne?
Yes, no problem.
Yves, you have questions. I know that you have answers.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, you have a lot of questions.
Okay, it's not actually a question. It's sometimes stupid remarks as well. I don't remember.
Volcanoes.
Yeah, the revival, kind of revival of the volcano. This happened in Geldingadalur, actually, north of the volcano, right?
You were thinking about Bob. Yeah, that's the first crater, right?
Yeah. So Geldingadalur is where Bob was, actually. So when I read that the volcano was alive again and it started to erupt on the north side, so Geldingadalur, it was where Bob was. So I thought, oh, Bob is alive and he's resurrecting somehow. So, that's why I said just a stupid remark, because actually,
the crater is huge, and
sure.
Bob is a little bit to the south of the crater actually, but it's like, I mean, it's just like it's such a huge area that volcanic activity is.
And Bob is probably below tens of meters of lava.
It has disappeared completely. You can actually see it if you watch the video from yesterday. You can actually see like it's now just like a shield somehow.
Bob has returned to the Black Lodge.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Bob.
Twin Peaks reference.
And then can you tell us more on the CO2?
Yeah, the more serious question, but maybe too deep and complex to be addressed now, is about the CO2 plant.
I can tell you this in a superficial way. The thing is, like scientists were like working on this some years ago, like trying to what is it? They capture the carbon dioxide and they funnel it into the stones, basically.
Yeah, it becomes stones again.
I think they actually have some kind of technology like this in Canada also. This is not like a unique thing in Iceland, but it's a pretty remarkable thing that they managed to do this. But they are building up this company. There are a lot of investors that believe in this. But right now, this is a very, very expensive technology.
Yeah, as usual at the beginning.
Yeah, right. And I mean, hopefully in the future, I mean, but the thing is, like, even like the technology to do this, like in a large scale, could also be a very polluting kind of industry. So there's a question about like, is this something that is it worth it or not and such, or if that, like that technology will get better and so on. But it's definitely like a path to something. So there's a little bit too early to say anything about it, but it's an interesting project for sure.
Okay, so it's not greenwashing. It's too early to say if it will work at the end, but it's more than greenwashing at the end.
The technology has a 90% capture rate. So when the fans have filters in them, and as air goes into it, it captures 90% of the CO2, and the other 10% of the CO2 just goes on out, and then it's pumped into the earth.
Yeah.
There are still some unanswered questions, though, that I'm looking into, because there's a rumor, and I'm still trying to find out whether or not this is substantiated, that a lot of like very polluting companies are using investments in this company for like green credit purposes.
Okay, so
to get their emissions offset, which would frankly not surprise me, but you always need to get confirmation on things. Just because something feels true doesn't mean it necessarily is.
Right.
So
we have questions. It's like still a little bit too early to say if this is brilliant or not, but it's interesting.
Yes.
Would it be not as efficient as planting forests? Because that is one of my things.
It's another way to fix it.
I mean, that's the future goal, right? It would be nice to have an island like Iceland with a lot of forests, but I mean, still not. I don't know. I like the nakedness and the harshness.
Yes.
More questions here. So you had number 3, just for fun.
Another question is just a screen capture of the weather on the from the smartphone. Maybe you don't have on your sheet.
No, the images that you sent did not. We only got the file names. The images themselves were not embedded in the email.
Maybe I can try to copy and paste it to the chat. It comes from the weather weather.punktur.is on the smartphone. So it was the weather a few weeks ago. I think Valur, you mentioned that in a recent newscast. It was a storm in the US that came that reached Iceland, and the weather was just awful, basically.
Yeah.
Yes, the weather was deadly.
Yeah. Then we had like you watched Jarðarförin mín, my funerals. I haven't seen that actually.
Yeah. I saw it on French TV a few days ago.
Did you like it?
Yeah, sure. That's why I wanted to mention it, because it's only 6 episodes, so there are no 10 seasons and tons of episodes. It's just 6 episodes and 30 minutes one, so it's really no big deal, and I really appreciated it.
Yeah. The fun fact: the main character, the actor, his name is Latti. He is like a legendary Icelandic comic comedian in Iceland, and often considered as a very tacky one. But this series actually made him it was like his first serious role basically, and it was interesting that he did it very well, and he seems like being as he gets older, he's becoming like a different kind of artist. So it has been quite loved by Icelanders, this show. It's very beloved comedian. Anything else, Yves?
Just wanted to add something about the cod liver oil. I think it was Anya who asked about it for Scalise and cod liver oil.
Yeah. The oil.
I did a comment to the chat because I tested it. For 1 or 2 months. So really no big deal. It's really not bad at all. So it was the lemon flavor one actually. So not the regular one, but it's really not bad to be honest.
That's the thing. It's you get used to it pretty quickly on. But
my mom used to drink some, so she's 86 years old. So she remembers it when she was a child.
Yeah, right.
and she told me it was absolutely disgusting at that time. And the one today from Iceland is really good to her. So
yeah, exactly. You can get it with flavors and such.
So there is no risk. You can try and taste.
And it's very healthy, I think. But I think, they say there are some research behind it, but I mean, whatever. So, Philip, hey there.
Hello, how are we?
We're good. You're coming to Iceland in October, right?
November, 2nd of November.
Okay.
Yeah, so with that in mind, actually, first of all, as people have been saying, the video yesterday was amazing.
Okay.
It was really good to see more of what the hike is like.
Yeah, right.
I think all the ones, most of them anyway, have been when you're already there. So it's good to see what was actually involved in getting there. Steep mountains and things, not that was unexpected.
Keep in mind, it was the hardest path. It's not always like that.
Yeah. You mentioned Hekla might be acting up. I know that there's probably no chance between, well, no, not no chance, but slim chance that it'll go off between now and the 2nd of November. But if it does, would it be more disruptions to flights like we saw a few years ago?
No effect on flights. Probably not. But if it would go off, it will not be the same as in Geldingadal. It would be much more dangerous, and we will not be able to go very close to it.
No, I wouldn't be looking to go there. I just need to get to the country.
No. No, Hekla is not like it has erupted many times throughout the 20th century, and it never stopped traffic ever. It's like but if Katla goes off, then you will probably. Well, it depends where the wind is actually. If you're lucky, then it probably just go to the Americans.
Just to clarify, which volcano are you talking about? Hekla, Katla, Hekla. Yeah, that's. It's the one under the glaciers you have to worry about.
Yeah,
those are the ones that create the explosive ash clouds that shut down air traffic and make Scottish people angry.
It's like Hekla is the only one that is like. Hekla is the only one that's like pyroclastic in Iceland.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different. But the Scottish people. I actually I want to free the Scots. For some reason, they don't want to free themselves.
Yeah, that was very frustrating to watch from over here.
I'm sure.
Well, that's it. That was my only question, really. So, thank you.
You're good. Okay.
Thanks.
Ali, Elwolf. Ellie.
Yes. Hello. It is my first time here, and I'm just really glad to be here. I am supposed to. By the way, I'm from United States, outside of Chicago. So you probably think of all the gangsters. That's what those think of. Okay.
I just think of coldness. It's quite cold in Chicago, right?
Not right now. It's pretty warm. I think it's a little colder in Iceland. Yeah. So it is my first time to come to Iceland, and I come in. We leave October 4th. I think I get in early October 5th, and then leave the 11th. And I'm just concerned about a friend of mine. We're traveling together. Just a concern that COVID. I mean, in terms of the borders. Is it possible that Iceland might close its borders? I know at once.
Not close them. No, not now.
No.
There are specific rules, I think, about English people, like Americans, when it comes to if you're not vaccinated.
No, we were vaccinated.
Yeah, then you should not have a problem. Icelanders are like 84% over 12 are vaccinated. The rest is more or less with the PCR. So to combined, it's like well over 90%.
That's great.
It's the and also there's elections coming up, and nobody's gonna close the borders at all.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
I was just wondering because somebody already apologized for the former president, but his effects are very well. They still are ongoing in the U.S. It's not really a great thing. So we do not have 70% of our general population vaccinated at all.
But you're getting there actually. It's like it seems like you're slowly at least heading there, although it's slower than you would
Well,
hope.
I know the present administration under President Biden, they are trying to mandate through federal jobs, et cetera, that and hospitals, nurses and things like that get vaccinated. So there are people that are resisting that. I don't know where it's going to go. Yeah, so I mean, that's not really a concern about you guys closing the border. It's just if the US has to close its borders, I guess.
I mean, I think even for me, if we would try to go to the US, it would be a lot of hassle actually. And of course, Icelanders have, we are like quite strict on our borders, but it doesn't seem to have been a massive problem to come to Iceland. I mean, it's definitely not the easiest time to travel, but it's not, I mean, everybody gets in unless just have COVID.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that are cause for optimism. Number one being that like the daily 14-day incidence per 100,000 people has been steadily declining. More Icelanders are getting booster shots. And I know that the science and the efficacy of that is in dispute, whether or not you need to take multiple shots. We're heavily dependent on tourism.
Yeah.
As Valur mentioned, like there's elections coming up and no one wants to be the party proposing this. And lastly, we kind of follow the lead of Schengen. Like when the borders slammed shut here on March 18th, 2020, it was because Brussels told us to, pretty much. So unless the entirety of the EU closes their borders, we're probably not going to, for this and other reasons. You're safe, I'd say.
Good. I mean, I was hoping, and then in terms of weather, I mean, it's around 45-ish Fahrenheit, you know, when I get there in October. Yeah, so that's not so bad. All right, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to be there very long. You say Reykjavík, is that how you say the city?
Yeah, that's very good.
Is it?
Well, you say Reykjavík, but you said it perfectly. Like it doesn't really matter.
All right. I am anything that anybody has. It sounds like most of you have traveled there, and we're not there long. But anything that we should see in and around that area.
Where to start?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it means that I must come back again. I'm pretty sure of that. But you know, yeah, everybody's shaking their head.
I mean, just keep in mind, the thing is like around the city area, you can see a lot of things just with like 1 or 2 hour drive. It's very simple. Everything from like Gullfoss to Geysir to the volcano, if you have the health and the body to go up there. Or just take the helicopter if you have a ton of money.
Just take a helicopter.
But
I'll just buy one. Yeah.
But if when you go to the road, hit the road and go somewhere else to the north or east or west or whatever, then everything gets a little bit slow.
Okay.
Like it takes like 4 or 5 hours to go to Akureyri. This is perhaps not that much. But for example, you go to Ísafjörður, it takes 8 hours. It's like, or 7 hours or something like that. So it's like, there are fine web pages when it comes to like distances, but you can travel a lot in the city area and see a lot in a very short amount of time.
And it's worth mentioning, shameless plug, we've released the Best of Reykjavík issue, which is now online. And so you can, it catalogs pretty much all the best stuff in town that is worth checking out. And that includes like places to go, not just places to eat or drink.
We have activity and everything. It's actually a pretty wholesome guide in our opinion.
I will look at that, and I do. I think it was Ellen who asked about the LGBTQIA plus community. Well, I am part of that, so I consider myself non-binary, and I think Iceland is probably much ahead of the US. So
I would believe so. It's like we are very open and fine with it. I mean,
I presume it depends what state as well.
Yes, like anybody in Texas right now
Yeah.
who cares about personal freedom is
Yeah.
probably very angry. I don't know if everybody knows, but in Texas they banned abortion and
Right.
and they set up a reward for anybody who wants to rat on the person who gets the abortion.
Incredible.
I can't imagine. I am not, and I never wanted to live in Texas anyway for many reasons. But
It's also, it's like you said, it's like, it's interesting, like how at least we view it. It's like, how can you like pretend to be a free society if your people aren't free? It's like,
well, I think it just goes to show how all of us, you know, we don't make sense all the time, right? We can be very rational and logical, and then it comes to a relationship or something we believe in, and maybe that stuff falls aside. But having said that, you know, it seems to me that this world is going either into greater consciousness or lesser consciousness.
yeah.
And I think that's an example of, I mean, they want guns so that they can kill, but you can't have an abortion because, well, that's bad. It just, you know, the dichotomy.
Well,
but that's human nature. Yeah. And this is
those excuses are good. Like, it's to defend against the government. What if the government will do something? Like, they have tanks. What are you going to do? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Personally, I just wanted to say that, like, it is to see like the way the Texas legislature targeted trans children. As someone who's like American by birth myself, just witnessing this from over here, it was a very helpless feeling. But it did warm my heart to see how many people mobilized, like not just people in the trans community, but our cis allies as well, who turned up and fought back against this as hard as they could. I think that's how progress is made. Like those of us in the queer community, we can't do this on our own.
Right.
It's going to take like people who are actually allies as well to put themselves up front too.
This is a fantastic point because, for example, the moment that, for example, in Iceland, when like the gay right became like, we realized that this was something that nobody could fight against. It was late, but it was early enough. It was probably around 1997 or 98 when they started gay pride. The thing is, like, the moment they did this and they decided to go down, it took like 1 or 2 gay prides for basically, like, if you want to show us support, then come and see us. And the support was like 50,000 Icelanders, which is like 1/4 of the nation. And then the community realized, of course, like they support us. They never had the opportunity in some ways just to show it. And that was like the moment also that when the politics, they were like, if they were even going to think about going against this, it was like, and you had 1/4 of the nation against you. I mean, well, this is not viable in politics. So it's like, it's really, I love this, like the ally thing, and how like us, the normies, can try to exactly just to show somehow the support. But in the US, you seriously have to fight for it. In Iceland, you just have to show up in the party. So,
well, every time people show up, there's opposition that shows up, and then you have like the former president, you know, hey, they're both important, and I love those people who are. He
very
just,
fine people on both sides.
yeah, he really. I mean, he really did create more more people who were bullied in schools and things like that. I mean, it really, I mean, we'll look back on this period and think this is awful, but I have to close with this. Elliot Page, who was Ellen Page, and I don't know if you know, she was an actress and
you know,
a couple of words, and Oprah was interviewing him by now, and Oprah just asked, well, you know, when did you feel like yourself? And Elliot said, I got out of the shower, and this is after he had top surgery. He got out of the shower with a towel around his waist and looked in the mirror and said, there I am. And I was so moved by that. I do have a friend who's trans from man to woman. And I did not know she was. And Didi said to me, oh, come on. I said, no, I guess I don't notice that as much as the person. And not to say that I don't have prejudices. I do. I mean, if you do that Harvard test, it starts to show some of the things. But I want to be open to them, and I want to understand, because there's so much in this world that is just not inclusive. And we are all part of the human family, and we all come from the stars. I mean, we are all the same, except for some of this different stuff of how we look or act. And I don't know. That's what so that's it. I'm finished.
Let's keep on moving. Ali, thanks for that. That's brilliant. I love that, actually. Sasha, welcome.
Hello, I'm here for the first time.
Welcome.
Though I've been a fan since March 2020 when the COVID started and my trip was cancelled. So I found your channel, and that was so much joy during those hard times. Thank you. That's yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Ukraine.
Okay.
So you may remember me by drawing you and Polly, and I posted on Instagram once. I draw you and Polly.
Yes, I remember. Oh, you told me. Yeah,
that was me.
That. Wow, thanks for that, by the way.
Yeah, and also I tried to send you a postcard, and then I saw that postcard for Christmas postcard in some of your video, and was like, oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah, I love the picture, exactly. So where are you in Ukraine?
I'm in Lviv, Ukraine. Yeah. So Lviv, it's a different city. It's close to Poland. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, we don't have actually direct flights to Iceland. So I need to go first to Poland or some other country to come to Iceland. So it's pretty much hard to plan the whole trip there. And I'm afraid of closing borders of some of those countries I'm crossing.
Yeah, right.
Been
I don't
stuck.
know how is the things when it comes to COVID, both in Ukraine and as well as Poland? Are you fine or?
Well, not so much. The new wave is starting. So I was thinking of going to Iceland to Icelandic Airways, but I heard that they are cancelled for this year. So I'm thinking of next year probably.
Yeah.
And
tons of things to do if you manage to come over. But so you still have pretty bad COVID going on, or?
Yeah, and we have like just 10% vaccinated or something like that. So
10%,
not so much, but yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but Poland closed their borders for us for a long time, and they just opened them like last week. But I think they will close them again because the situation in our country is pretty bad with COVID.
Yeah, it's bad to hear.
Yeah, so I don't have actually some sophisticated question about oils.
No, don't worry about it. It's more than fine. It's just very good to see you. I see your face also, like the artist himself or herself.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, we're actually done with 1 hour. That's good. 60 minutes.
Yes.
That's pretty,
making good time.
Making good time. This is very productive. Perhaps one extra question. Does anybody have anything that have popped up since we started that I really want to ask or something like that? If you're good, then we're good. Are you, is this from someone?
This is Jenny answering somebody else's question.
Oh, yeah. But I have a comment. There was a wonderful article about Iceland's eruption in the New Yorker recently.
Yeah.
And if anybody is interested, you can get a copy of it at the library or online or something. But our own Valur Grettisson is featured in the first part of it, including Polly, and it's quite a good article. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, you gave me the issue, right? That's like
I thought it might be hard for you to get a copy.
Oh God.
Yeah, I was actually going to get a copy, but I didn't find it. Thank you all for being with us. We'll be here in, what do we do this in every month? Every 3 weeks?
We're going to try to do this every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's what we're aiming for right now.
Hopefully that will be the case.
Yes.
But until next time, you can of course see us in the videos. You can see this